When you understand the nature of reality, you will see that your life bends itself to the assumptions you hold most firmly. To manifest millions, you must first become the person who already has them, not in some distant future, but now. Every morning when you rise, do not ask yourself, how will it come? Instead, begin the day as if it has already arrived. Feel the weight of that abundance in your heart. Sense the quiet confidence of one whose accounts are overflowing, whose opportunities multiply without strain. Inwardly, live in that truth until the mind can no longer distinguish between imagination and reality. You see, the mind does not wait for proof, it creates the proof. If you act as if millions are already yours, the world must eventually match that inner conviction. This is not empty pretending, it is conscious creation. Your walk changes, your voice gains authority. You begin to make decisions from a place of security rather than lack. The present circumstances may try to contradict you. They may shout, "It isn't here yet." But that voice belongs to the old self, the self that waited for evidence instead of producing it. You must silence it. The truth is not in what is seen, but in what is felt. Your current environment is simply the echo of past thinking. Hold your vision with unwavering faith. Know that each action, each thought, each emotion is planting the seeds of your future. Stop treating your desire as a far-off dream. Instead, inhabit it. Let your mind rest in the reality that you are already wealthy. Millions do not come to those who chase them. They come to those who are already home in that state of being. If you act like it is yours now, you remove the barrier of someday and invite it into today. That is the true power of creation, to feel before you see and to know before you touch. What you experience in your outer world is nothing more than the mirror of what you hold inside. The people, the opportunities, the circumstances that surround you are not random occurrences. They are reflections of the state of mind and heart you dwell in most of the time. If you desire millions, you must first feel abundant within yourself, because it is impossible to live in constant lack internally and expect wealth to show up externally. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you truly believe you already have. Imagine your mind is a projector and your life is the screen. Whatever film is playing inside, your dominant thoughts, emotions, and assumptions is exactly what is cast outward for all to see. You cannot project a story of scarcity and expect the picture to display wealth. The outer world does not have the power to change until you change the inner one. If you walk around feeling anxious about money, thinking of bills and expecting delays, you are feeding a vibration of lack. That frequency will call to itself more situations that match it. But when you start to fill your inner world with a feeling of wealth, when you let your thoughts dwell on security, freedom, and endless possibilities, you set a new cause in motion. You begin to think as the wealthy think, not because you have millions sitting in the bank, but because you have claimed them in your mind. You stop waiting for the evidence before you feel rich. And instead, you feel rich so the evidence can appear. This is why so many people who win sudden wealth often lose it. They did not transform the inner world. They still felt poor, still thought from lack, and so the outer picture eventually returned to match their inner state. On the other hand, a person who truly shifts their inner state to one of abundance will see wealth flow to them in unexpected ways, and more importantly, stay with them, because they have become the person who naturally attracts and sustains it. Your inner world is built moment by moment through your thoughts, your words, and your imagination. Every time you dwell on not enough, you are watering the roots of scarcity. Every time you dwell on more than enough, you are nourishing the roots of wealth. It is not a matter of pretending. It is a matter of choosing which inner reality you will live in until it becomes your only truth. If you can master your inner world, your outer world will have no choice but to follow. This is not magic, it is the law of creation. You cannot see wealth outside of you until you feel wealth within you. Begin now to live as though the millions are already yours. Think from that place, feel from that place, and walk from that place. The outer world will bend to match the inner world you have claimed. To live in the end is to place yourself mentally and emotionally in the reality where your desire is already fulfilled. It means you stop treating your goal as something distant or uncertain and begin to carry yourself as though it is already a fact. When you desire millions, living in the end means thinking, speaking, and moving in the exact way you would if you already had them. You no longer hope for wealth, you assume it, breathe it, and let every decision flow from it. This approach shifts your entire energy. When you think from the end, you no longer waste mental space on how will it happen or when will it come. Those questions belong to someone still waiting. Instead, you know it is already done. Just as you don't question whether the sun will rise tomorrow, you stop questioning whether your millions will arrive. They already exist in your world, and you're simply walking toward the moment you can touch them. Your words begin to align with this new reality. You stop speaking from a place of lack. You no longer say things like, "I can't afford that," or "I wish I could." Those words affirm the old version of yourself, the one without. Instead, you speak in ways that match the abundant life you have claimed. You talk about your investments, your opportunities, your plans, not because you are forcing the conversation, but because you are now living from the perspective of someone who has already crossed the finish line. Your movements also shift. You make decisions differently. You no longer shrink from opportunities out of fear of loss. You no longer settle for less because you feel desperate. You walk into rooms with quiet confidence. You choose quality over cheapness. You allow yourself to think long term instead of only about the next bill. These small choices are not random. They are the natural actions of someone who is already wealthy in their mind. Living in the end is not about reckless spending or pretending in a shallow way. It is about embodying the certainty and composure of someone who already has what they desire. If you were already a millionaire, you would not be obsessing over how to get it. You would be focusing on how to use it, grow it, and enjoy it. By placing yourself in that mindset now, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you want, which compels life to arrange itself to match it. The power of living in the end is that it dissolves the gap between wanting and having. You remove the energy of waiting, which often pushes your desire away. Instead, you live as if it is here, and in time, the outer world must mirror that truth back to you. When you act as though your millions are already secured, you are no longer chasing wealth. You are simply allowing it to meet you where you already stand. Everything you create in life begins with a feeling. Before an event happens, before money appears, before opportunities arrive, there is always an emotional state that sets the stage. Your feelings are the blueprint from which reality is built, and they hold far greater power than fleeting thoughts alone. While thoughts can be mechanical, feelings are alive. They carry energy, and that energy draws to you experiences that match it. If you wish to manifest millions, it is not enough to think about them. You must feel the reality of already possessing them. The moment you put down as print in your memory, feelings are magnetic. When you dwell in the emotional state of abundance, feeling safe, free, and secure, you broadcast a signal to the universe that says, "This is who I am, and this is what belongs to me." That signal calls forth people, ideas, and events that match your inner atmosphere. On the other hand, if you constantly feel anxious, desperate, or worried about money, you are broadcasting lack, and life responds by giving you more situations that confirm that feeling. And lack is less your. This is why many people struggle with manifestation. They think positive thoughts for a few minutes a day, but spend the rest of their time feeling stressed or doubtful. The dominant feeling wins. You cannot plant seeds of abundance in the morning and then water them with worry all day, expecting wealth to bloom. It is your consistent emotional state that decides what will eventually show up in your world. To master this, you must begin by noticing how you feel most of the time. If you discover that your inner state leans toward fear or scarcity, you must shift it deliberately. Close your eyes, imagine the scene of your desire fulfilled, and most importantly, feel what it would be like. How would it feel to check your account and see more than enough? How would it feel to pay every bill with ease? How would it feel to know you can travel anywhere, help anyone, and choose freely? Stay in that feeling until it becomes familiar, until it no longer feels like imagination but like your normal state of being. When you make that emotional shift, you stop chasing and start attracting. You will notice opportunities you previously overlooked. You will feel guided toward actions that align with your new reality. Your mood will lift, and people will respond differently to you, often in ways that lead to the very abundance you have been feeling within. This is why the feeling truly is the secret. It is not about forcing reality to change, it is about changing your inner state so reality has no choice but to match it. You are not waiting for money to make you feel secure, you are feeling secure so the money can come. You are not waiting for abundance to make you happy, you are feeling happy so abundance flows naturally to you. Once the feeling becomes your constant companion, the physical proof will follow effortlessly. To manifest wealth, you must first become the kind of person who naturally attracts and sustains it. This begins by assuming the identity of wealth, not in some shallow display, but in a deep inner transformation of how you think, speak, and carry yourself. Your habits, your posture, and the way you speak to yourself must all align with the mindset of someone who is already wealthy. When your identity shifts, your reality cannot help but follow. Habits are the daily proof of who you believe yourself to be. If you believe you are wealthy, your choices reflect it. You no longer make decisions from a place of desperation or fear. You invest in quality over quantity, in long-term gain over short-term gratification. You become intentional with your time because you value it as a precious asset. You organize your finances not because you are afraid of lack, but because you are a good steward of abundance. Wealthy people are disciplined, strategic, and forward-thinking. Adopting these habits now plants the seeds for wealth to take root in your life. Posture communicates your state of mind before you even speak. The wealthy carry themselves with calm confidence, not arrogance, but an unshakable presence. They walk into a room knowing they belong there. They do not rush, fidget, or shrink. You can begin practicing this now. Shoulders back, head high, movements deliberate. When you carry yourself as someone valuable, people will treat you as such. Opportunities tend to gravitate toward those who appear certain of their worth. Your self-talk is perhaps the most powerful part of assuming the identity of wealth. The words you speak to yourself shape your beliefs, and your beliefs create your reality. Stop saying, "I can't afford that," "I'll never have enough," or "money is hard to come by." These statements reinforce an identity of lack. Instead, speak to yourself the way a wealthy person would. "I always have more than enough. Opportunities are constantly flowing to me. I am a magnet for abundance." This is not blind optimism. It is the conscious reprogramming of your inner narrative. When you assume the identity of wealth, you are no longer pretending. Pretending is fragile. It collapses under the weight of current circumstances. True identity is unshakable. It does not depend on the evidence in front of you. You know who you are, and you act accordingly, whether the world has caught up to your vision or not. Eventually, the outer world must reflect this inner identity, because reality is compelled to match the self-concept you hold most firmly. By aligning your habits, posture, and self-talk with that of a wealthy mind, you send a clear message to both yourself and the universe. This is who I am now. And once that message is deeply embedded in your being, your life will begin to organize itself to make it true. Wealth will not feel like something you are chasing. It will feel like something that naturally belongs to you. What you see in your life right now is not the final truth. It is only a snapshot of past thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Your current circumstances are like the last page of an old chapter, not the opening line of the next. Too often, people allow the present to dictate their vision for the future. They look at what is lacking, what is delayed, or what seems impossible, and they let that image decide what they believe is possible. But the present moment is temporary, and it holds no power except the power you give it. When you focus too much on what is, you trap yourself in a cycle of recreating the same reality. You keep affirming and energizing the conditions you wish to escape. If you say, "This is just how life is for me," you are agreeing to let the present repeat itself. But when you recognize that the outer world is simply the echo of the inner world you once held, you stop being controlled by appearances. To understand that a new inner state will eventually produce a new outer picture, no matter what the current frame looks like. This is where discipline comes in. Ignoring the present does not mean pretending it doesn't exist. It means refusing to let it dominate your thoughts or feelings. You acknowledge it without giving it authority. You choose to place your focus on the reality you are creating, not the one that has already been created. Just as an artist does not stare at the unfinished canvas in frustration, but keeps painting the vision in their mind, you must keep shaping your inner world until the outer matches it. The truth is, the present moment is already old news. It's the result of who you were days, weeks, or months ago. If you don't like it, don't fight it. Replace it. Begin to live mentally in the outcome you desire, even if it feels far from your current view. If your bank account is empty, don't let that define your identity. Hold the inner feeling of abundance so strongly that the emptiness loses its power over you. If opportunities seem scarce, imagine them multiplying until it feels natural to expect them. Everything changes when you stop reacting to circumstances and start responding to your vision. Circumstances bend to sustain belief, not the other way around. The world will rearrange itself to reflect your inner conviction, but only if you stay loyal to that conviction, regardless of what is happening now. The present may be loud, but your faith in the unseen must be louder. When you learn to ignore what is temporary in favor of what is eternal, the vision within, you free yourself from the prison of appearances. You stop measuring your progress by today's picture and start trusting the process that is unfolding. Hold to your inner reality, and in time the outer reality will catch up. The present is not the final chapter. It is just the bridge to the life you have already claimed within. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It takes what exists only as an idea, a possibility, or an unseen reality, and pulls it into the physical world. Without faith, desires remain distant dreams, never crossing into tangible form. But with faith, steady, unwavering belief, you give life to what cannot yet be seen, and in time it becomes as real as the ground beneath your feet. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is not hoping something might happen if the circumstances line up. Faith is the inner knowing that it is already done, even when the evidence has not yet arrived. It is holding the feeling of certainty so strongly that doubt finds no place to settle in your mind. Just as a seed planted in the soil is unseen for a time, yet destined to grow, your faith nourishes the unseen reality until it bursts into view. Belief is the substance that gives form to the invisible. Everything that exists now, every building, invention, or fortune, was once nothing more than a thought in someone's mind. The difference between those who simply dream and those who create is faith. The creator holds the vision, trusts in its reality, and acts as though it is already here. They are not shaken by the absence of proof because they know the absence is only temporary. When you hold faith in your millions, you no longer live as someone chasing wealth. You live as one who has already received it in the unseen realm and is simply walking toward its physical appearance. You stop trying to force it because faith does not strain, it rests in assurance. Your decisions begin to align with that inner reality. You take opportunities, think long-term, and move with calm confidence because you know the outcome is secure. Faith also transforms the way you respond to setbacks. Without faith, challenges feel like evidence against your desire. With faith, they are simply temporary detours on a path whose end is certain. You do not give up because you already know where you are headed. You do not panic when the current scene looks opposite to your goal because you understand that appearances can change in an instant when belief is unshaken. This is why faith is more powerful than sight. Sight shows you only what is. Faith shows you what can be and insists on it until it becomes what is. When you believe with your whole being, you set forces in motion. Opportunities align, people appear, and circumstances shift to match your conviction. The unseen is not empty, it is rich with possibilities, waiting for someone to claim them. Faith is the claim. It is the invisible hand reaching into the realm of potential and pulling out a reality that becomes solid before your eyes. When you believe without wavering, the invisible has no choice but to become visible. What you hold in faith today will be the fact you stand upon tomorrow. In the end, the path to manifesting millions is not about chasing money. It is about becoming the version of yourself who already lives in that reality. When you create wealth in your inner world, live in the end, embody the feeling of abundance, assume the identity of the wealthy, ignore temporary circumstances, and hold unshakable faith, you align yourself with the very forces that bring the unseen into view. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner, and when you master the inner, the outer must obey. What you consistently feel, believe, and embody becomes your life. Begin now, act now, and live now as if it is already yours. Because in truth, it already is. Thank you. Imagine yourself standing at the precipice of greatness. Not a single ounce of your success is hidden from you. It exists now in this very moment. The key is not in chasing it, but in preparing for its inevitable arrival. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are prepared to receive. The first step is to claim your success as though it were already yours. Close your eyes and see yourself in the life you desire. Feel the joy, the freedom, the accomplishment as though they are present now. This is not mere imagination, it is the bridge between your current state and your future reality. Do not concern yourself with the details of how success will come. That is not your work. Your responsibility is to hold steadfast to the vision, trusting the unseen power that shapes your world. Resist the temptation to analyze or doubt, for these are the barriers that delay the inevitable. Every great success begins in the silence of belief. When the outer world shows no sign of change, remember the seed is growing beneath the soil. Your persistence in the vision, even when evidence is lacking, is the very force that commands the universe to act on your behalf. Gratitude is the language of abundance. Feel thankful now not for what you hope to receive, but for what you already possess in the unseen realm. Gratitude is a powerful multiplier, aligning your vibration with the reality you seek. Prepare for your success to arrive in ways you could never predict. The path will surprise you, but the outcome is certain. Remain flexible and open, for life will orchestrate the details with a precision you could never plan. Prepare your heart, your mind, and your spirit for massive success. It is not a distant dream, but a present reality awaiting your readiness. Stand firm, believe boldly, and receive willingly. Success is not coming, it is already here, and it belongs to you. Success begins in the quiet, unseen spaces of the mind, long before it is visible in the outer world. To truly prepare for massive success, one must first embrace the mindset of ownership. This is not merely wishful thinking or hopeful longing, it is the deliberate and unwavering belief that success is already yours, as natural and certain as the rising sun. It requires a shift from the external pursuit of achievement to an internal realization of possession. The foundation of this transformation lies in your ability to visualize, feel, and embody the essence of success before it manifests physically. Imagine for a moment the person you desire to become, the life you aspire to live. In the mind's eye, you are already there. You see yourself thriving, standing tall in your accomplishments, exuding confidence, and radiating abundance. The mistake many make is treating this exercise as fantasy, dismissing it as mere imagination. But what you envision within is not a dream, it is a seed of reality waiting to be nurtured. Visualization is the first act of creation. When you close your eyes and see yourself as the successful individual you desire to be, you are giving form to the formless. The clearer and more detailed your vision, the stronger its pull on reality. However, visualization alone is not enough. It must be infused with emotion, for emotion is the language through which the invisible becomes tangible. Feel it. Feel the pride of accomplishing your goals, the joy of financial freedom, the peace of a balanced life, and the thrill of opportunities flowing effortlessly to you. Your emotions are a magnetic force, drawing to you the people, circumstances, and resources that align with the reality you are embodying. This feeling is not an act of pretense or make-believe, it is a conscious alignment with the truth that already exists in the unseen. The key to this process is understanding that the outer world is but a mirror reflecting the state of your inner world. If you perceive yourself as lacking, struggling, or unworthy, those are the experiences the world will echo back to you. On the other hand, when you cultivate the mindset of ownership, believing without hesitation that success is yours, your external reality must align with that belief. This is not arrogance, it is a quiet confidence rooted in the unshakable knowing that you are destined for greatness. Embodying success means living as though your goals have already been achieved. Speak, act, and carry yourself with the certainty that your vision is unfolding perfectly. This does not mean you ignore your current circumstances. Instead, you approach them with the understanding that they are temporary and malleable. Each step you take is guided by the awareness that you are walking the path of someone who is already successful. The process requires faith and persistence. There will be moments when the physical world seems unchanged, when doubts creep in and tempt you to abandon your belief. In these moments, remind yourself that the inner shift always precedes the outer manifestation. Just as a seed planted in the ground takes time to sprout, your success is unfolding in perfect timing. Trust the process and hold firm to your vision. One of the most profound shifts that occurs when you embrace the mindset of ownership is a sense of calm and assurance. No longer do you feel the need to chase or force outcomes. Instead, you align yourself with the flow of life, knowing that everything is working in your favor. This inner peace not only accelerates the manifestation of your desires, but also allows you to enjoy the journey along the way. Success is not something you acquire or achieve, it is something you claim and embody. It is not a destination but a state of being. By visualizing your desired reality, feeling it with conviction, and embodying it in your actions and attitude, you prepare yourself to receive the success that is already yours. This mindset of ownership is the starting point of every great achievement and the foundation upon which lasting success is built. The power of assumption lies in its ability to transform your life from within. It is a principle that transcends mere optimism or positive thinking. It is the deliberate practice of embodying the reality you desire, as if it already exists. When you cultivate the habit of assumption, you step into the role of the creator, aligning your inner world with the outcome you wish to see. The external world then has no choice but to conform to this inner truth, for assumption is the seed from which all physical realities grow. To act as if you are already living in your desired reality requires a shift in consciousness. It is not enough to hope, wish, or dream. You must firmly assume the identity of the person who has achieved the success, happiness, or abundance you seek. This is not a superficial act of pretending, but a deep inner conviction that what you desire is already yours. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions must reflect this belief. As you assume this state of being, you send a powerful signal to the universe, shaping your external circumstances to mirror your internal reality. The assumption is rooted in the principle that life reflects your deepest beliefs. The outer world is not independent of your inner state. It is a mirror that reveals what you hold to be true about yourself and your circumstances. When you assume a particular state of being, whether it is wealth, health, or love, you align your energy with that reality. This alignment is not passive. It is an active and intentional process that involves your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Begin by identifying the reality you desire. Close your eyes and imagine it in vivid detail. See yourself living that life, experiencing the joy and fulfillment it brings. Then move beyond mere visualization to the realm of assumption. Feel the emotions associated with that reality as if it is happening now. Feel the gratitude, the excitement, the peace. Let these emotions permeate your being, for they are the fuel that brings your assumption to life. The next step is to act in alignment with your assumption. This does not mean engaging in reckless behavior or ignoring your current responsibilities. Instead, it means carrying yourself as though you already are the person you aspire to be. Speak with confidence, make decisions from a place of abundance rather than lack, and approach each day with the mindset of someone who has already succeeded. This alignment between your inner belief and outer action strengthens your assumption, reinforcing it until it becomes your reality. The power of assumption lies in its ability to bypass the limitations of the physical world. When you focus solely on what your senses reveal, you are bound by the constraints of the present moment. However, assumption allows you to transcend these limitations by creating a new reality in your mind. This new reality becomes a magnet, drawing the necessary people, opportunities, and resources into your life. Over time, your assumption hardens into fact, reshaping your outer world to match your inner vision. Doubt and fear are the greatest obstacles to cultivating the habit of assumption. They arise when you allow the evidence of your senses to dictate your belief. To overcome these challenges, you must persist in your assumption, even when the physical world shows no signs of change. Trust in the unseen, knowing that your inner work is setting the stage for your desired reality to unfold. Persistence is key, for it is through unwavering belief that your assumption gains the power to manifest. As you cultivate this habit, you will notice subtle shifts in your life. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will present themselves. Relationships will transform, and circumstances will align in ways you could not have predicted. These changes are not coincidences, they are the natural consequences of your assumption taking root and growing into reality. The habit of assumption is a practice of faith and imagination. It requires you to look beyond what is and focus on what can be. By assuming the feeling of your desired reality and living in alignment with that belief, you unlock the creative power within you. Your assumption will harden into fact, and the life you once envisioned will become the life you live. In the journey towards success, one of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that the how is not your responsibility. The path to achieving your desires, the intricate details of how circumstances will align, and the specific steps that will unfold are not for you to control or dictate. Your role is to focus on the vision, to trust in its inevitability, and to remain unwavering in your belief. When you detach from the how, you allow the unseen forces of life to orchestrate events in ways that are beyond your imagination, creating a pathway to success that is often more effortless and perfect than you could ever plan. The human tendency is to overanalyze and strategize. When faced with a goal or dream, the mind immediately begins to calculate, asking questions like, how will this happen? What steps do I need to take? What if I fail? While planning has its place, becoming consumed by the details can lead to stress, doubt, and even self-sabotage. This fixation on the how creates resistance, blocking the very flow of energy that could bring your vision to life. By trying to control every step, you risk limiting the infinite possibilities that exist beyond your current awareness. To detach from the how is to release the need for control and place your trust in the unseen. This does not mean being passive or idle, rather, it means focusing your energy on the end result, rather than the means to get there. Picture your desired reality clearly and hold it in your heart with unwavering faith. Feel the joy, the fulfillment, and the gratitude of having already achieved it. Then let go of the question of how it will come to pass. Life operates through a complex web of interconnected events, people, and circumstances. Often the path to success involves opportunities, encounters, and solutions that you could never predict. When you release the need to control the process, you create space for these unseen forces to work on your behalf. These forces, whether you call them divine guidance, universal energy, or simply the natural flow of life, are always active, aligning the pieces of your vision in perfect harmony. Imagine planting a seed in fertile soil. Once planted, your role is not to dig it up each day to see if it is growing. Instead, you trust that the seed knows how to grow. You water it, provide sunlight, and allow nature to take its course. In much the same way, your vision is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind. By detaching from the how, you allow it to grow without interference. Detaching from the how also brings a sense of peace and freedom. When you no longer feel the burden of controlling every aspect of your journey, you can relax and focus on what truly matters, maintaining your belief, taking inspired action when prompted, and enjoying the present moment. This surrender does not mean giving up, it means recognizing that there is a greater intelligence at work, guiding you toward your success in the most efficient and beautiful way possible. The resistance arises when you doubt this process. Perhaps the outer world appears unchanged or progress seems slow. In these moments, remember that the visible is only a fraction of what is unfolding. Much like a river carving its path through a valley, the forces of life are working tirelessly behind the scenes to bring your vision to fruition. Your role is to stay aligned with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, and to trust that the process is unfolding perfectly, even when you cannot see it. Detaching from the how does not mean ignoring opportunities or refusing to take action. It means allowing action to arise naturally from a place of alignment and inspiration, rather than force or desperation. When you trust the unseen forces, you will find yourself in the right place at the right time, guided by intuition and synchronicity. The steps you need to take will become clear, often in ways that feel effortless and joyful. Detaching from the how is an act of faith. It is a declaration that you believe in the power of your vision and trust in the unseen forces that support its realization. By focusing on the end result and releasing the need to control the process, you open the door to possibilities that surpass anything you could have planned. Success is not just about achieving a goal, it is about allowing life to unfold in its miraculous and mysterious way, carrying you toward your vision with grace and ease. Persisting in your inner vision is the cornerstone of transforming your reality. The outer world, no matter how rigid it may seem, is a direct reflection of your inner beliefs and assumptions. It is shaped not by chance, but by the steady, unwavering conviction you hold within. While it may be tempting to react to external circumstances, true change begins and solidifies in the mind. To persist is to trust the power of your vision even when the world around you offers no immediate evidence of change. It is a commitment to the unseen, a steadfast focus on what you know to be true within, regardless of what appears without. The world operates as a mirror, reflecting back the beliefs, assumptions, and feelings you harbor most consistently. If you allow yourself to be swayed by the temporary conditions of the outer world, you give up the creative power within you. When circumstances seem unchanging or even contrary to your vision, it is not a signal to abandon your belief, but a test of your persistence. These moments call for an unshakable focus, for the outer world always conforms to the dominant state of your inner world, not instantly, but inevitably. To persist in your inner vision, begin by understanding the nature of your mind. Your imagination is the workshop of creation. Every time you vividly picture your desired reality and feel its truth, you impress it upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious, in turn, works tirelessly to bring this vision into form, influencing events, aligning circumstances, and guiding your actions. However, this process requires consistency. A fleeting belief or half-hearted assumption lacks the power to override the patterns already ingrained in your subconscious. Persistence is the force that rewrites these patterns and reorients your entire being toward the fulfillment of your vision. Detachment from the evidence of your senses is essential. The physical world, as real as it may appear, is the result of past thoughts and beliefs. It is a delayed reflection, much like the light of a distant star that reaches Earth long after it has been emitted. If you allow yourself to be discouraged by what you see in the present, you risk reinforcing the very conditions you wish to change. Instead, let your focus remain on the inner vision, knowing that it is the seed of a future reality that must come to pass if you nurture it with persistence and belief. Persisting does not mean forcing or straining, it means maintaining a quiet, confident faith in your vision. It is the unwavering decision to return time and again to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Even when doubts creep in or circumstances appear static, gently redirect your mind to the truth you hold within. This practice builds resilience, teaching you to trust in the unseen forces at work, rather than the fleeting appearances of the outer world. Emotions play a vital role in persistence. The feeling of your vision fulfilled is the fuel that powers its manifestation. Cultivate this feeling as often as possible, allowing it to permeate your thoughts and actions. Feel the joy, gratitude, and peace of already living the life you desire. These emotions not only strengthen your belief but also create a magnetic force that draws your vision closer to reality. When doubts arise, counter them with the certainty of this feeling, reminding yourself that the outer world must eventually conform. Time is another factor that tests your persistence. The delay between imagining your vision and seeing it manifest can be frustrating, but this period is not wasted. It is a time of gestation, where unseen forces are aligning the pieces of your vision. Trust in this process, knowing that every moment you persist strengthens the foundation of your desired reality. The greater your belief, the shorter this period becomes, for the intensity of your inner conviction accelerates the alignment of circumstances. In the face of apparent stagnation, affirm your vision with even greater clarity. Speak words of truth to yourself, such as, "It is done," or "I know my vision is real." These affirmations, repeated with conviction, reinforce your belief and keep your focus steady. Let every action you take in the outer world be guided by this inner knowing, acting as though your vision is already a fact. This alignment between thought and action creates a powerful coherence that hastens the manifestation of your desire. Persistence in your inner vision is an act of mastery over the self. It requires discipline, patience, and unwavering faith. But the rewards are extraordinary. By refusing to waver, even in the face of unchanging circumstances, you demonstrate your understanding of the creative process. You rise above the temporary and align yourself with the eternal truth. The outer world is but a shadow of your inner beliefs. Hold fast to your vision, nurture it with care, and trust in its inevitable fulfillment. In time, the world will conform and your inner truth will shine forth as your reality. Gratitude is one of the most potent forces in creation. It shifts your energy, aligns you with the frequency of abundance, and bridges the gap between where you are and where you desire to be. To embrace gratitude for what is unseen is to step into the reality of your fulfilled desires as though they are already yours. It is to say thank you for blessings not yet visible in the physical world, confident that they exist in the realm of possibility and are on their way to you. This state of gratitude amplifies your focus, strengthens your belief, and hastens the manifestation of your desires. When you feel gratitude, you align yourself with the feeling of having, rather than wanting. Desire in its purest form is a beautiful force. But if it is not accompanied by gratitude, it can carry an undertone of lack. This lack creates resistance, reinforcing the idea that what you desire is separate from you. Gratitude, however, dissolves this separation. When you give thanks for your success, as though it has already happened, you step into the energy of fulfillment. You affirm that your desires are not only possible but certain. Gratitude is not merely a mental exercise, it is an emotional state that resonates deeply with the subconscious mind. The subconscious, which shapes your outer reality, responds not to words alone but to the feelings behind them. When you feel genuine gratitude for something unseen, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious that the desired outcome is already real. This emotional conviction imprints your belief onto the subconscious, prompting it to work tirelessly to align circumstances, opportunities, and people in harmony with your vision. Begin by visualizing your desired success with vivid clarity. See yourself living the life you dream of, achieving the goals you have set, and experiencing the joy and abundance that comes with it. As you hold this image in your mind, shift your focus to gratitude. Say to yourself, "Thank you for this incredible success. Thank you for the opportunities that made it possible. Thank you for the joy, fulfillment, and abundance I now experience." Allow this gratitude to fill your heart until it feels as real as if your desires had already materialized. This practice of gratitude is not about pretending or deceiving yourself, it is about aligning with the truth that all possibilities exist within you. By feeling grateful for what is unseen, you claim it as your own. You step into the identity of someone who has already succeeded, and this identity becomes a powerful attractor for your desires. Gratitude also cultivates a mindset of abundance. When you focus on what you are thankful for, whether it is present in your life now or yet to come, you shift your attention away from what is missing. This shift not only elevates your mood but also raises your vibrational frequency, aligning you with the positive outcomes you seek. The law of attraction responds to this energy, drawing to you experiences that match your elevated state. The beauty of gratitude is that it can be practiced anywhere, at any time. In moments of doubt, turn to gratitude. When circumstances appear unchanged, give thanks for the unseen progress taking place behind the scenes. When you feel impatient, remind yourself that every step of the journey is bringing you closer to your vision. Gratitude transforms these moments into opportunities for growth, reinforcing your trust in the process and your belief in the inevitable fulfillment of your desires. As you embrace gratitude for what is unseen, you may begin to notice synchronicities, opportunities, and subtle shifts in your outer world. These are not coincidences but reflections of your inner state. They are signs that your gratitude is working, aligning your reality with the vision you hold within. Celebrate these signs, no matter how small, as evidence that you are on the right path. Gratitude also deepens your relationship with the unseen forces at work in your life. Whether you perceive these forces as divine guidance, universal energy, or the natural flow of creation, expressing thanks for their support strengthens your connection. It acknowledges that you are not alone in this journey, that there is a greater intelligence orchestrating events in your favor. This trust allows you to relax, release resistance, and surrender to the process with confidence. Embracing gratitude for what is unseen is an act of faith and mastery. It requires you to look beyond appearances, to trust in the invisible, and to celebrate the reality of your desires before they manifest. But this practice is also profoundly rewarding. It transforms the way you experience life, filling each moment with hope, joy, and a deep sense of abundance. By feeling gratitude as though your success has already happened, you align yourself with its inevitability, amplifying the power of your focus and accelerating the realization of your dreams. Expecting the unexpected is an essential mindset for manifesting success. It acknowledges that while your vision is clear and your desires are firm, the paths through which they come to fruition are infinite and often beyond your comprehension. To embrace this principle is to trust the unseen forces that orchestrate reality, allowing yourself to stay receptive, flexible, and open to possibilities you may not have anticipated. This mindset not only accelerates the manifestation of your success, but also allows you to navigate life with ease and curiosity. When you set your intention for success, it is natural to imagine specific ways it might unfold. However, attaching yourself too rigidly to a particular path can create resistance. The universe, or the unseen intelligence governing creation, operates with a perspective far broader than your own. It sees opportunities, connections, and sequences of events that your conscious mind cannot fathom. By expecting the unexpected, you release the need to control every detail and instead allow this greater intelligence to bring your vision to life in ways that are often more extraordinary than you could have imagined. Staying receptive begins with trust that your desires are heard and that the processes required to fulfill them are already in motion. This trust is not passive, it is an active state of readiness. It means holding your vision clearly in your mind while being willing to adapt to whatever comes your way. Success rarely arrives in a straight line, it often takes twists and turns that, while unpredictable, are perfectly aligned with your ultimate goal. By remaining open, you position yourself to recognize these opportunities and take inspired action when they appear. Flexibility is equally crucial. The journey to success often requires you to adjust your plans, rethink your strategies, and embrace new directions. What may seem like a detour is often a necessary step toward your destination. For instance, you might encounter setbacks that initially appear to delay your progress, only to realize later that they provided valuable lessons or redirected you toward a better path. Flexibility allows you to flow with these changes rather than resisting them, maintaining your momentum even when the road ahead looks different than you expected. To expect the unexpected is also to cultivate a sense of wonder and curiosity. Instead of fixating on how your success will come, approach each day with the question, what incredible opportunities might unfold today? This mindset shifts your focus from doubt or impatience to excitement and possibility. It creates a sense of adventure, transforming the journey into an enriching experience rather than a means to an end. Practicing detachment is another key aspect of expecting the unexpected. Detachment does not mean giving up on your desires, it means releasing the need for them to manifest in a specific way or on a rigid timeline. When you are detached, you allow space for the unexpected to enter your life. You free yourself from the anxiety of micromanaging the process, trusting instead that what you desire is on its way, even if the how and when remain unknown. This openness often leads to serendipity, those moments of seemingly accidental alignment that bring you closer to your goals. Perhaps you meet someone who provides a vital connection, or you stumble upon an idea that transforms your approach. These occurrences are not random, they are the result of your openness to the unexpected. By staying attuned to your vision while remaining adaptable, you create a fertile environment for such synchronicities to occur. Expecting the unexpected teaches you resilience. Success is rarely a smooth journey. Challenges, surprises, and changes are inevitable. When you anticipate that the unexpected will play a role in your story, you are less likely to be thrown off course by unforeseen events. Instead, you see them as part of the unfolding process, responding with confidence and creativity rather than fear or frustration. This mindset also encourages you to expand your definition of success. Often, the unexpected ways in which success manifests reveal possibilities that surpass your original vision. For example, you might achieve a goal in a manner that brings additional benefits you hadn't considered, or you might discover new passions and directions that enrich your life even further. By staying open, you allow the unfolding process to exceed your expectations, creating outcomes that are not only successful but deeply fulfilling. Expecting the unexpected is an act of co-creation with the universe. It acknowledges your role as the visionary and the universe's role as the orchestrator. Together, this partnership creates a dynamic, ever-evolving process that brings your desires to life in ways that are both precise and miraculous. By staying receptive and flexible, you align yourself with this flow, allowing success to manifest in its most remarkable form. Trust in the process, remain open to surprises, and let the unexpected become a source of joy and inspiration on your journey to achieving your dreams. In this journey to massive success, you've learned that your mind is the foundation, your assumptions shape reality, and trust in unseen forces amplifies your manifestation. You've embraced persistence in your inner vision, gratitude for the unseen, and openness to the unexpected. Each principle is a reminder that success begins and ends within you, unfolding not just through effort but through alignment with the truth that your desires are already yours. As you walk forward, hold steadfast to these truths. Nurture your inner beliefs, let gratitude guide your steps, and trust the process even when the path is unclear. Success is not something you chase, it is something you allow to emerge from the certainty of your faith and the clarity of your vision. Thank you for embracing this message and for taking the time to internalize these principles. May your journey be filled with endless breakthroughs, abundance, and fulfillment beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you, and may success flow to you effortlessly. Beloved, within you lies the limitless potential to create a life filled with wealth, joy, and fulfillment. The secret is simpler than you think. It begins with 6 words that hold the power to transform your reality. Say it aloud and feel its truth. These words awaken your innate divinity. To receive abundance, you must first accept your worthiness. You are not a beggar in this universe, you are its co-creator. Speak these words as if they are the law of your being. Abundance does not exist in a far-off place or a distant future. It is here now. Claim it boldly in your imagination, and the physical world must conform. What you focus on expands. Stop magnifying lack or limitation, for they are illusions. Instead, choose to see every challenge as an opportunity. Every delay is preparation for something greater. The moment you give thanks, you invite more reasons to be thankful. Gratitude unlocks the floodgates of abundance. Do not wait for evidence, feel gratitude now, as if your desires have already materialized. Your actions are the embodiment of your beliefs. Move through life as though you already have all you desire. Speak, dress, and act as the abundant being you are, and the world will mirror it back to you. Let go of the how and the when. Do not strive or struggle, instead surrender. Trust that the unseen forces of the universe are aligning everything for your highest good. These 6 words are not merely affirmations, they are commands. Speak them with conviction, feel their resonance within you, and act as if they are already true. In doing so, you align yourself with the infinite storehouse of abundance that is your birthright. The life you desire is not outside of you, it is within you, waiting to be expressed. You are the creator of your reality. Abundance is not something you chase, it is something you claim. Let these 6 words become the cornerstone of your being, and watch as the universe rushes to fulfill your declaration. These 5 simple words carry profound truth, yet they are often the hardest to accept. To declare your worthiness is not just an act of speaking, it is an act of transformation. It is a shift in consciousness from seeing yourself as separate, lacking, or undeserving to recognizing that you are a divine being inherently connected to the infinite source of abundance. This declaration is the key to unlocking the doors of prosperity, joy, and fulfillment that have always been waiting for you. So often people struggle with the belief that they are not enough. They carry wounds from the past, words unspoken, love withheld, opportunities missed. They mistakenly associate their worth with their external achievements, physical appearance, or the approval of others. But worthiness does not depend on any of these things. It is not something you earn, it is something you realize. It is a truth that has existed since the beginning of your existence. When you say you are affirming your right to participate fully in the abundance of life, you are declaring that you no longer subscribe to the limiting beliefs that have kept you small. You are stepping into a new identity, one that understands that receiving is as natural as giving. To feel deserving is to align yourself with the flow of the universe. Think of a river, it does not question whether it is worthy of reaching the ocean. It flows naturally, effortlessly, carrying within it the promise of its destination. Similarly, your worthiness is inherent. The only thing that blocks the flow of abundance is the belief that you are not enough. These beliefs are not truths but illusions, often inherited from societal conditioning, familial patterns, or personal experiences. When you embrace your worthiness, you allow yourself to receive not only material abundance but also love, joy, peace, and fulfillment. This does not make you selfish or greedy. On the contrary, it makes you a vessel through which blessings can flow. When you receive, you are empowered to give, and in giving, you create a cycle of abundance that benefits all. But declaring your worthiness is not merely an intellectual exercise, it must be felt. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. Picture yourself receiving it fully, without hesitation or guilt. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the excitement. This feeling is the evidence of your worthiness. It is the vibration that aligns you with the reality you seek to experience. It is also important to act as though you are worthy. Walk with confidence, speak with assurance, and take actions that reflect the truth of your worth. Surround yourself with people and environments that uplift you, and let go of anything that diminishes your sense of self. It is not just a statement, it is a way of being. It is the foundation upon which all abundance is built. When you truly believe it, you will find that the universe responds in kind, showering you with blessings far beyond what you could have imagined. You are worthy simply because you exist. It is already mine. These words hold a truth that transcends the limitations of the physical world. They are not mere affirmations, but a declaration of the fundamental nature of existence. The abundance you seek, the dreams you long for, and the fulfillment you crave do not exist somewhere outside of you waiting to be attained. They are already present within you, woven into the fabric of your being. To claim something as your present reality is to acknowledge that you and the object of your desire are not separate. This understanding begins with a shift in perception. Most people live as though their desires are far away, as if they are striving to reach a distant goal. This mindset creates a constant sense of lack, a gap between where they are and where they wish to be. But the truth is that there is no gap. The moment you desire something, it is born within you. Consider the nature of imagination. When you close your eyes and envision yourself living the life of your dreams, holding the wealth you desire, experiencing the love you long for, or enjoying perfect health, where is that vision? It is within you, alive and vibrant. That is the seed of your reality, already existing in the unseen realm. Your task is not to bring it into being, but to align with it, to claim it as your own with conviction and faith. The act of claiming abundance as your present reality requires a new way of thinking. You must release the old patterns of waiting, hoping, and doubting. Instead, you step into the feeling of having it now. Feel the joy of already possessing it. Feel the gratitude as if it has already been delivered. This feeling is the key. It bridges the unseen and the seen, the imagined and the manifested. When you say, "It is already mine," you are not lying to yourself or denying your current circumstances. You are acknowledging a higher truth, one that goes beyond appearances. The physical world is a reflection of your inner state. As you hold the conviction that abundance is already yours, the external world must rearrange itself to match that belief. But this is not a passive process. Claiming something as yours means embodying it. Walk, speak, and act as though you are already living in the reality you desire. This is not pretending, it is living in alignment with the truth of your inner vision. Your actions become the evidence of your faith, and your faith moves mountains. You'll understand that abundance is not something to be earned or achieved, it is your natural state. The universe is infinitely abundant, and you are a part of it. There is no separation between you and the source of all creation. When you claim that abundance is already yours, you are stepping into harmony with this eternal truth. Hold these words close to your heart. It is already mine. Let them become the foundation of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you truly believe this, your life will transform. and you will realize that abundance has always been yours. I see only possibilities. This statement is not just a perspective, it is a way of life, a mindset that transforms how you interact with the world. To see only possibilities is to choose hope over fear, expansion over limitation, and faith over doubt. It is an act of conscious creation, where you deliberately focus your attention on what can be, rather than what appears to stand in your way. Life is filled with challenges, but these challenges are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to reveal your strength, your creativity, and your capacity to grow. When you see obstacles as insurmountable, you give them power over you. You place yourself in a position of helplessness, feeling as though life is happening to you rather than through you. But the moment you shift your focus from obstacles to possibilities, everything changes. What once seemed like a barrier becomes a doorway, inviting you to step into a greater version of yourself. Possibilities exist everywhere, even in the darkest moments. The human mind has a remarkable ability to create meaning and solutions when it is aligned with the right focus. Consider the countless stories of individuals who turned adversity into opportunity, a failed business sparking a revolutionary idea, a heartbreak leading to a profound self-discovery, or a setback becoming the foundation for a breakthrough. These are not rare exceptions, they are the natural outcomes of a mind that sees possibilities. When you choose to focus on possibilities, you align yourself with the energy of abundance. Abundance is not just about material wealth, it is a state of being where you recognize that life is constantly offering you opportunities to grow, create, and thrive. This shift in focus is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you see pathways and resources that were always there but hidden from view by fear and doubt. Seeing possibilities requires cultivating awareness. Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Are they filled with worry, self-criticism, and doubt? Or do they reflect hope, curiosity, and creativity? Your thoughts are the seeds of your reality. If you find yourself focusing on obstacles, gently redirect your mind. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What opportunity is hidden within this challenge? How can this situation serve me? These questions open the door to new perspectives and solutions. It also helps to surround yourself with people and environments that encourage possibility thinking. Spend time with those who uplift you, who see the best in you, and who inspire you to dream bigger. Engage in activities that stimulate your creativity, whether it's reading, brainstorming, or simply spending time in nature. Above all, practice gratitude. When you are thankful for what you have, you train your mind to see more of what is good, more of what is working, and more of what is possible. Gratitude is the foundation of abundance, and it opens your eyes to the infinite opportunities around you. To see only possibilities is to declare that you are a creator, not a victim. It is to affirm that no matter what life presents, you have the power to shape your reality. As you embrace this mindset, abundance will flow effortlessly, for you will have aligned yourself with the truth that life is, at its core, a field of endless possibilities. Gratitude is the secret to a life overflowing with abundance. When you cultivate a thankful heart, you align yourself with the frequency of wealth, joy, and fulfillment. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture or fleeting emotion, it is a powerful force that shapes your reality. The simple act of giving thanks, even in the smallest moments, creates a ripple effect that multiplies the good in your life. Wealth in its truest sense is not confined to material possessions or financial gain. It is a state of richness in every area of life, relationships, health, opportunities, and peace of mind. When you are grateful, you are acknowledging the abundance that already exists around you. This recognition shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present. And where your focus goes, energy flows. By appreciating the blessings you already have, you create a magnet for more blessings to enter your life. Think of gratitude as planting seeds. Each time you express thanks, you are planting a seed of abundance. These seeds, nurtured by your appreciation, grow into a flourishing garden of wealth. The more you water them with consistent gratitude, the more they multiply. This is a universal principle that operates without fail. The energy you emit through gratitude is returned to you in kind, often in ways that exceed your expectations. One of the most profound effects of gratitude is the way it transforms your mindset. Instead of dwelling on scarcity or limitation, a grateful heart sees opportunities, solutions, and possibilities. This mental shift not only uplifts your spirit but also changes the way you interact with the world. When you radiate gratitude, you attract people, circumstances, and ideas that resonate with that energy. Others are drawn to the lightness and positivity of a thankful heart, and this can open doors you never imagined. Gratitude also builds a foundation of trust and faith. It affirms your belief that life is abundant and that you are supported in every way. Even in challenging times, gratitude allows you to see the silver lining. It reminds you that every experience carries a lesson or a blessing. This perspective is invaluable as it keeps you centered and hopeful, regardless of external circumstances. To harness the multiplying power of gratitude, start with what you have right now. Take a moment to acknowledge the simplest blessings: a roof over your head, a meal to enjoy, the beauty of nature, or the support of a loved one. Write these down, say them aloud, or meditate on them. The act of focusing on these gifts expands your awareness of how much you truly have, and this awareness creates room for even more to flow into your life. Gratitude is not passive, it is active. It asks you to give thanks not only for what you already see, but also for what is on its way. When you express gratitude for future blessings as though they are already here, you accelerate their arrival. This act of faith is a declaration to the universe that you trust in its abundance. A thankful heart is a wealthy heart. The more you give thanks, the more you realize how much there is to be thankful for. Gratitude multiplies wealth, not because it changes the external world, but because it changes you. It opens your eyes to the richness that surrounds you and invites even greater abundance to flow into your life effortlessly. To act as abundance is to embody the truth that you are already prosperous, regardless of external circumstances. This is not about pretending or putting on a facade, but about stepping into the feeling and mindset of wealth, fulfillment, and sufficiency. Your actions, when rooted in this state, create your reality. They align your inner world with the abundance you wish to experience outwardly. The way you move through life speaks volumes about your beliefs. If you act from a place of scarcity, fear, or limitation, you reinforce those conditions in your reality. But when you act as though you are already abundant, when you make decisions and take steps with confidence, generosity, and joy, you send a powerful signal to the universe. You declare, "I am ready to receive more because I already recognize and live in my abundance." Acting as abundance begins with a shift in perception. It requires you to let go of the belief that wealth is something external to be chased or earned. Instead, you embrace the understanding that abundance is a state of being, a vibration you carry within yourself. By embodying this state, you naturally attract circumstances, opportunities, and resources that reflect it. One of the most transformative ways to act as abundance is through generosity. When you give freely, whether it is your time, money, or energy, you affirm that you have more than enough. This act of giving signals to both your subconscious mind and the universe that you trust in the endless flow of resources. And as you give, you open yourself to receiving, often in ways that surpass your expectations. Your daily habits and choices are another way to embody abundance. Start by observing how you speak and think about wealth. Do your words reflect scarcity, or do they express gratitude and confidence? Speak as though you are already living your dream life. Dress, eat, and carry yourself in a way that aligns with the abundant version of yourself. This does not mean spending beyond your means, it means cultivating an energy of care and self-worth that mirrors the life you wish to create. Acting as abundance also involves cultivating a mindset of trust and faith. Trust that the resources, opportunities, and connections you need will come to you at the right time. Faith does not mean passivity, it means taking inspired action while believing in a favorable outcome. Each step you take in alignment with your vision reinforces your belief in its manifestation. In challenges or moments of doubt, Remind yourself that abundance is not defined by temporary conditions. It is a deeper truth, rooted in your ability to create, to adapt, and to grow. Even in times of perceived lack, you have the power to act as abundance by focusing on what you do have and making the most of it. Acting as abundance is about living in alignment with your highest self. It is about embodying the energy of prosperity, joy, and gratitude in everything you do. When you act from this place, your reality cannot help but transform to match the abundant life you already claim as yours. To let go and trust is to step into the flow of life with confidence and peace. It is the act of releasing the need to control every detail of your journey and surrendering to the divine timing of the universe. This is not a sign of weakness or passivity, but a powerful declaration of faith in the infinite intelligence that governs all creation. Letting go and trusting is the key to aligning yourself with the abundance that is already yours. Holding on tightly, whether to specific outcomes, timelines, or methods, creates resistance. It stems from a belief in lack, a fear that if you do not orchestrate every detail, things will fall apart. But true abundance cannot be forced. It flows effortlessly when you align your energy with it. Letting go means releasing this resistance, allowing the natural unfolding of events, and trusting that the universe is always working in your favor. Trust is a choice, one that you make moment by moment. It begins with the recognition that you are not separate from the source of abundance. You are a part of it, a co-creator in its expression. When you trust, you affirm that the universe knows what is best for you, and that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't appear that way in the moment. Letting go also involves releasing attachments not just to material desires, but to the fear and doubt that accompany them. When you cling to a specific outcome, you narrow the possibilities of what can come into your life. You might overlook greater blessings because you are fixated on something smaller. By letting go, you open yourself to receiving abundance in forms you may not have imagined, forms that often exceed your expectations. Trusting in divine timing requires patience and surrender. It asks you to quiet the restless mind that demands immediate results. Instead of obsessing over when and how your desires will manifest, focus on being present. Trust that what you seek is already on its way, and your role is to prepare yourself to receive it. This preparation is not about doing more, it is about being aligned with gratitude, peace, and the assurance of your worthiness. Meditation and mindfulness are powerful tools to cultivate this trust. Spend time each day connecting with your inner self, tuning out the noise of doubt and fear. In this stillness, remind yourself that the same force that moves the stars and grows the trees is guiding your life. Trust in its wisdom. Letting go and trusting does not mean abandoning action. It means taking inspired action while releasing the need to control the outcome. Do what feels aligned and purposeful. Then step back with the confidence that your efforts will bear fruit. When you let go and trust, you move from a place of anxiety to one of peace. You stop pushing and chasing and start allowing. In this space, abundance flows effortlessly, for you have aligned yourself with the rhythm of life. You have stepped into the truth that everything you desire is already on its way, waiting for you to welcome it with open hands and an open heart. In the journey toward abundance, the most powerful transformations begin within. Each step declaring your worthiness, claiming abundance as already yours, focusing on possibilities, cultivating gratitude, embodying abundance, and letting go with trust brings you closer to aligning with the infinite wealth that is your birthright. Abundance is not something you chase or hope for, it is a state of being that flows naturally when you recognize and embody its presence in your life. The universe responds to your energy, your beliefs, and your actions. When you step into the truth of abundance, live as though it is already yours, and release control to divine timing, you create a reality that mirrors your highest aspirations. Every thought, feeling, and choice matters. By choosing abundance, you welcome it into every corner of your existence. Thank you for allowing these words to inspire your journey. May you walk forward with confidence, peace, and the knowing that abundance is not just possible, it is inevitable. When God speaks to us, it is not always in the form of blessings wrapped in light. Sometimes His messages come shrouded in what we perceive as darkness, uncertainty, pain, or loss. These dark signs are not punishments, they are sacred signals pointing the way to transformation and truth. There comes a moment when what you've built begins to crumble. Your plans falter, relationships shift, and the foundation of your life seems to give way. This collapse is not destruction, it is divine intervention. God clears the old to make room for the new. When the familiar falls apart, do not despair, it is His way of telling you that the time has come to grow beyond your current limitations. Have you ever cried out in prayer and heard nothing in return? This silence is not abandonment, it is a sacred pause. God steps back not to leave you but to teach you. In the silence, He invites you to trust, to stand firm in your faith, and to discover the divine power within yourself. Loneliness can feel like the heaviest burden, yet it is in solitude that God whispers the loudest. When you are stripped of distractions, you are brought face to face with your true self. This dark sign is a call to turn inward, to strengthen your spirit, and to recognize that you are never truly alone. He is always with you. When your dreams seem endlessly deferred, you may wonder if God has forgotten you. But every delay is divine. It is in these moments that unseen forces are aligning for your greater good. Trust the process, for what feels like a setback is often the greatest setup for blessings beyond your imagination. The hardest sign to accept is when life forces you to confront your own darkness, your fears, doubts, and unresolved wounds. This is God's way of refining you. The shadow is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Embrace it, and you will find that within it lies the key to your liberation and divine purpose. These dark signs, though painful, are blessings in disguise. They are God's way of drawing you closer, of molding you into the person you were always meant to be. When you encounter them, do not fear. Instead, ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me? For within every shadow lies the promise of light, and within every trial the seed of triumph. Trust the process, for His ways are higher than ours, and His plans are always perfect. God's messages are rarely delivered with fanfare. They do not arrive adorned in the pomp of extraordinary events or the brilliance of clear answers. Instead, they often come wrapped in silence, subtlety, and shadows. It is in these moments of darkness that the most profound communication occurs. This darkness is not abandonment, it is preparation. A sacred space where the soul is stretched and refined, where the divine whispers truths that cannot be heard in the clamor of ordinary life. When life plunges into uncertainty and the light seems to fade, it is tempting to equate darkness with despair. But the truth is far more nuanced and compassionate. Darkness is not a punishment, it is a pause, a divine invitation to turn inward and reconnect with the eternal source of strength and wisdom that resides within. In the absence of external clarity, we are compelled to find clarity within ourselves. This process is not meant to break us, but to prepare us for something greater, something beyond our current understanding. Consider the stillness of the night. It is under the cover of darkness that seeds germinate, roots deepen, and life quietly prepares to bloom. Similarly, the darkness in our lives fosters unseen growth. It is a time for reflection, for breaking down old patterns, and for embracing transformation. In this space, God speaks not with the loud voice of miracles, but with the gentle, persistent whisper of change, urging us to trust the process, even when we cannot see the outcome. There is a certain beauty in the way darkness forces us to surrender. When the familiar falls away and the path ahead is obscured, we are left with no choice but to let go of our need for control. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but a profound act of faith. It is in these moments that we begin to understand the depth of God's plan, a plan that is always working in our favor, even when it feels otherwise. The darkness then is not a sign of God's absence, but of His presence, guiding us toward the next chapter of our journey. But why does God choose to speak through darkness? Perhaps it is because clarity can sometimes be a distraction. When everything is clear, we rely on what we see, hear, and know. We lean on our own understanding, often missing the deeper lessons that can only be learned through faith. In darkness, we are stripped of these superficial crutches. We are forced to trust in something greater, something unseen. It is here that the whisper of the divine becomes audible, not in the noise of certainty, but in the quiet of surrender. This preparation is not without its challenges. It requires patience, resilience, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. It asks us to sit with our fears, doubts, and insecurities, to confront the parts of ourselves we would rather avoid. Yet it is through this confrontation that we grow. The darkness serves as a mirror, reflecting back our truest selves, revealing both our flaws and our potential. It is a process of refinement, a sacred chiseling away of what no longer serves us to reveal the masterpiece beneath. Even in the midst of this process, it is crucial to remember that darkness is never the end of the story. Just as night gives way to dawn, so too does the darkness in our lives give way to light. The whispers we hear in these moments are not words of despair, but promises of hope. They remind us that we are not alone, that God is with us, preparing us for something far greater than we can imagine. So when you find yourself in the shadows, resist the urge to panic or despair. Instead, lean into the quiet. Listen for the whisper. Trust that the darkness is not a sign of abandonment, but an indication of divine preparation. And know that in time the light will return, and you will emerge not as you were, but as the person you were always meant to be. When life presents challenges that feel insurmountable, it is natural to question why they have arrived. In moments of struggle, the human heart often leaps to conclusions of punishment, as if these trials are retribution for some misstep or inadequacy. Yet the truth is far more profound and filled with grace. These challenges, which we often perceive as dark signs, are not punitive but transformative. They are veils drawn over the path of understanding, designed to shift us toward a higher plane of awareness and growth. Consider the role of a veil. It obscures what lies behind it, creating a sense of mystery and curiosity. In the same way, challenges in life obscure the immediate clarity we seek, forcing us to step back and reassess. These veils are not placed before us to hinder or harm, but to invite introspection. They compel us to pause, to dig deeper within ourselves, and to seek the divine wisdom that can only emerge through the process of transformation. What feels like a delay or detour is, in reality, a profound opportunity to become more aligned with our true purpose. Transformation is never comfortable. It involves the breaking down of old patterns, beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve us. Much like a caterpillar must endure the darkness of the chrysalis before becoming a butterfly, we too must navigate the dark and uncertain spaces of life to emerge stronger and more capable. These veils, though unsettling, are not barriers but thresholds. They mark the boundaries between who we are and who we are meant to become. To understand this, one must recognize that the nature of transformation is inherently divine. It is not random or cruel, it is purposeful and sacred. Each challenge carries within it the seed of growth, though it may be difficult to see in the moment. It is only when we look back on our lives that we realize how every dark season shaped us, how every perceived setback was, in fact, a setup for something greater. These veils are placed with intention, guiding us away from complacency and toward the heights of our potential. The process of transformation requires trust. It asks us to let go of our resistance and embrace the unknown, even when it feels like we are walking blindfolded. This is no easy task, especially when the weight of the challenge feels overwhelming. But trust is the bridge between fear and faith, and it is through this trust that we come to understand the transformative power of these dark signs. They are not signs of failure or rejection, but of divine redirection, aligning us with the path that leads to our highest good. It is also important to recognize that these veils serve a dual purpose. Not only do they challenge us to grow, but they also protect us from moving too quickly into spaces we are not yet ready to inhabit. Sometimes what we perceive as a delay or denial is actually divine protection, shielding us from opportunities or outcomes that, if given prematurely, could hinder rather than help. In this way, the veil is both a test and a safeguard, ensuring that we are adequately prepared for what lies ahead. As we navigate these veils, it is crucial to shift our perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we must ask, "What is this teaching me?" This simple yet profound shift opens the door to understanding. It allows us to see challenges not as punishments but as gifts, each one designed to refine us, to strengthen our character, and to draw us closer to the divine wisdom that lies within. The veils that appear as dark signs are opportunities for transformation of the highest order. They strip away illusions and force us to confront the truth of who we are. They guide us through the fire of refinement, not to destroy us, but to reveal the brilliance that lies beneath. And as we emerge from these challenges, we do so not as victims of circumstance, but as victors of transformation, carrying with us a higher understanding and a deeper connection to the divine purpose that shapes our lives. Darkness is often misunderstood. When it descends, we may perceive it as an unwelcome guest, a shadowy force intent on robbing us of peace and joy. Yet its presence is not random nor without purpose. Darkness signals an ending, a sacred transition that beckons us to let go of what no longer serves us. It is not the destruction of our essence, but the death of the old self, a necessary shedding that clears the way for a rebirth into purpose and light. Much like the seasons of nature, our lives are cyclical. Just as autumn's trees shed their leaves, we too must release the outdated parts of ourselves. These might be limiting beliefs, destructive habits, or relationships that no longer align with our truth. At first, the shedding can feel like loss, as though something vital is being stripped away. But it is through this process of release that we create space for the new perspectives, new opportunities, and a new understanding of our place in the world. The old self clings tightly, rooted in comfort and familiarity. It resists change, fearful of the unknown. But the divine knows what we often forget: growth requires letting go. Darkness descends not to harm, but to signal that the time has come to leave behind the worn-out version of ourselves. This shedding is not punishment, but preparation, a clearing of the soil so that something greater can take root. The death of the old self can feel like a disorienting void. Without the structures and patterns we have clung to, we may feel untethered, uncertain of who we are or where we are headed. This period of darkness, however, is a sacred pause, a liminal space where transformation occurs. It is in this quiet, uncharted territory that the soul begins to realign with its true purpose. In the absence of external clarity, we are called inward, to the stillness where divine wisdom resides. The rebirth does not happen overnight. It is a process often marked by discomfort and resistance. The old self fights to remain, whispering doubts and fears that tempt us to retreat into what is familiar. But just as the seed must break open in the dark soil to sprout into the light, we too must endure the breaking open of our old selves. This is the labor of transformation, the sacred work of stepping into a higher version of who we are meant to be. As the old self fades, it reveals the truest essence of our being. What remains is not emptiness, but potential, a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of purpose and light. This rebirth is not a return to who we were, but an emergence into who we are destined to become. It is a reclamation of our divine inheritance, a stepping into the fullness of our power and authenticity. The process is deeply personal, yet it is also universal. Every soul will at some point experience the death of the old self. It is a rite of passage, a necessary journey that leads to greater alignment with the divine plan. What feels like an ending is, in truth, a beginning, a doorway to a life of deeper meaning, joy, and fulfillment. As you navigate this process, trust in its purpose. Embrace the darkness not as an enemy, but as a guide. Allow yourself to grieve the parts of you that are falling away, but do not cling to them. They have served their purpose, and their departure makes room for something far greater. In time, the light will return, illuminating the path ahead. You will emerge transformed, no longer burdened by the weight of what was but buoyed by the promise of what will be. The death of the old self is not an ending to fear, but a sacred invitation to rise, to step boldly into the light of your true purpose, and to live as the divine always intended you to, free, whole, and radiant. There comes a moment in every life when the external world, once vibrant and supportive, feels as though it has dimmed. The paths that once seemed clear become shrouded in uncertainty. The people and circumstances that offered comfort and guidance may seem distant or absent. This is not coincidence or mere misfortune, it is a divine invitation. When all external lights are extinguished, you are not abandoned but called inward. It is a test, not of your endurance alone, but of your inner faith, the eternal flame that resides within, waiting to be ignited. The external world often serves as a mirror, reflecting back to us the things we believe we need to thrive: validation, support, clarity. Yet these are fleeting. The lights of the outer world are not constant, and when they inevitably dim, we are left with a stark realization the true source of light, strength, and guidance has always been within us. The extinguishing of external lights is not punishment, it is a sacred moment meant to reveal the deeper, more enduring light that resides within your soul. Faith is not tested in moments of ease and abundance. It is tested when the outer circumstances of life appear bleak, when answers seem elusive, and when you feel as though you are walking through an unrelenting darkness. These moments are not meant to break you, but to build you, to strip away reliance on the temporary and awaken the eternal. They are moments of refinement, calling you to trust not in what you can see, but in what you know to be true within the deepest chambers of your heart. This test is deeply personal. No one can walk it for you, and no external force can provide the answers you seek. It requires a turning inward, a willingness to sit with the silence and the discomfort of not knowing. In that silence, the eternal flame begins to flicker. It is faint at first, often overshadowed by doubts and fears, but it is there. Your task is to nurture it, to fan its flames through unwavering faith in the divine plan that guides your life. This inner flame is your connection to the divine, the essence of who you are beyond the roles, titles, and circumstances of your life. It is unchanging, unaffected by the shifting tides of the external world. To ignite it fully, you must release the need for external validation and lean into the trust that you are guided, loved, and supported, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. The process of turning inward can be unsettling. It asks you to confront the parts of yourself you have avoided, to face the fears and uncertainties that linger in the shadows of your mind. Yet it is in this confrontation that transformation occurs. As you light the eternal flame within, the shadows begin to dissipate. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and what once seemed insurmountable reveals itself as an opportunity for growth. The beauty of this test is that it strengthens you in ways the external world never could. The faith you cultivate within becomes a wellspring of strength, resilience, and clarity. It allows you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of peace, knowing that your true source of light and guidance is always present. It shifts your perspective, helping you to see the external world not as a source of your fulfillment, but as a reflection of the inner light you carry. When you emerge from this test, you do so transformed. The flame within you burns brightly, illuminating not only your path, but the paths of others who are still searching for their light. You become a beacon, a reminder that the darkest moments are not the end, but the beginning of a deeper, more authentic connection to the divine. In this test of inner faith, you are not being asked to create something new, you are being asked to remember what has always been there. The eternal flame within you is your inheritance, your birthright, and your greatest strength. Trust in it, nurture it, and allow it to guide you through the darkness and into the light of a life lived in alignment with the divine truth that resides within. In the moments when life seems to stall, when doors remain closed despite your best efforts, it is easy to feel frustration, confusion, or even despair. You may question whether you are on the right path or whether your desires will ever come to fruition. Yet what feels like rejection or delay is rarely what it seems. It is often divine timing in disguise, a sacred orchestration of events happening in realms beyond your immediate perception, aligning everything for your ultimate good. We live in a world where instant results are celebrated and patience is undervalued. In this fast-paced environment, delays can feel unbearable, as though life is withholding what we believe we need. But the divine works on a higher timeline, one that transcends human understanding. It is not governed by urgency but by perfection. Every delay, every pause is a thread in a greater tapestry, woven with intention and care to create something far beyond what you could imagine. Delays are not denials, they are moments of preparation. When you feel as though your path is blocked, it is often because the way ahead is being prepared for you, or perhaps you are being prepared for it. There may be lessons you need to learn, strengths you need to develop, or perspectives you need to shift before you can step into what is truly meant for you. The delay is not a punishment but an act of love, ensuring that you are ready to fully embrace and sustain the blessings that await you. In the silence of waiting, the divine often whispers its greatest lessons. It asks you to trust, to let go of the need to control, and to surrender to a wisdom greater than your own. This is not an easy task. The human mind craves certainty and immediacy. But trust is the foundation of faith, and faith is the bridge between where you are and where you are destined to be. When you release your grip on how and when things should happen, you create space for divine timing to unfold. It is important to remember that what you perceive as a delay may, in fact, be a redirection. Sometimes the plans you make for yourself fall short of the divine vision for your life. A closed door may be protecting you from something that is not aligned with your highest good, while simultaneously guiding you towards something far greater. In these moments, trust that every step, even the ones that seem to lead nowhere, is part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. The unseen realms are always at work. Just as a seed must lie dormant in the soil before it bursts into bloom, the desires you have planted in your heart require time to take root and grow. There is activity happening beneath the surface, unseen but vital. Forces you cannot see are moving, aligning circumstances, and preparing the way for your dreams to manifest. What feels like stillness is often the most crucial part of the process. Delays also serve to deepen your appreciation. When blessings arrive in divine timing, they carry with them a sense of fulfillment that is unmatched. The waiting refines you, stripping away entitlement and replacing it with gratitude. You come to see the blessing not as something owed to you, but as a gift, a manifestation of love and care from the divine. This perspective not only enriches your life, but strengthens your connection to the source of all things. Embrace the waiting as a sacred time. Use it to reflect, to grow, and to nurture the flame of faith within you. Trust that the delays you experience are not detours but part of a divine design, perfectly timed to bring you into alignment with the life you are meant to live. Every pause has a purpose, every setback a lesson, and every delay a hidden blessing. When the timing is right, the doors will open effortlessly, and the path will unfold before you. In that moment, you will understand that the waiting was not in vain. It was a gift, a necessary pause that allowed the divine to prepare you for the fullness of what is to come. Trust in this process, for it is guided by love, wisdom, and the unwavering intention to lead you toward your highest good. There are moments in life when the world around you seems to grow quiet, even eerily so. The signs you once interpreted with ease seem cryptic, or worse, absent altogether. You may find yourself surrounded by challenges that feel like barriers, and it's tempting to question their purpose. But the so-called dark signs are not random occurrences. They are deliberate messages, silent yet profound, that call you inward, urging you to recalibrate, to pause, and to realign with the divine will. In the busyness of life, it's easy to become disconnected from the quiet voice within. The demands of the external world can drown out the guidance that whispers from your soul. In these moments, the divine often intervenes not with dramatic gestures, but with subtle, often unsettling nudges that force you to stop and look inward. These signs, though cloaked in darkness, are acts of grace designed to bring you back to alignment with your higher purpose. The silence of these messages is intentional. Words can be misunderstood, and obvious signs can be ignored. But the darkness forces you to rely on something deeper: your intuition, your inner knowing, and your connection to the divine. It is within this silence that the most profound guidance is given, not in the form of answers, but as an invitation to seek. The questions that arise in these moments: why is this happening? What am I meant to do? Are the very tools that guide you toward greater clarity and alignment. Dark signs often come in the form of discomfort, a relationship that no longer feels right, a job that drains your spirit, or a sense of restlessness that cannot be ignored. These experiences are not meant to harm you, but to awaken you to the areas of your life that are out of alignment with your true self and the divine plan. They are opportunities, though they may not feel like it at first. They ask you to look honestly at your life and to make the changes necessary to come back into harmony with your highest purpose. This process requires introspection. It asks you to step away from the noise and distractions of the world and to sit with yourself in stillness. In this space, you can begin to discern what is truly yours and what you have taken on that does not serve you. You may realize that some of your goals and desires are not aligned with your soul's path, but are instead shaped by societal expectations or fears. Letting go of these misalignments is not easy, but it is necessary. It is the first step toward realignment. Realignment also requires faith. The dark signs often appear when you are at a crossroads, when the next steps are unclear. It is in these moments that you are called to trust in the unseen, to believe that the divine is guiding you even when the path ahead seems uncertain. This faith is not blind, but rooted in the quiet assurance that you are never truly lost, even in the darkest times. You are being guided gently but firmly toward the life you are meant to live. As you heed these silent messages, you begin to feel a shift. The darkness that once felt oppressive becomes a space of possibility. The obstacles that seemed insurmountable transform into stepping stones. You come to understand that the dark signs were never meant to harm you, but to heal you, to draw you closer to the divine and to the truth of who you are. In this alignment, you discover a sense of peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. You realize that the darkness was not the absence of light, but a preparation for it. The silence was not emptiness, but a space for divine wisdom to emerge. The discomfort was not punishment, but a call to grow, to shed what no longer serves you, and to step fully into your purpose. The next time you encounter a dark sign, do not fear it. Instead, embrace it as an opportunity to recalibrate, to introspect, and to realign. Trust that it is part of a greater plan, one designed with your highest good in mind. These silent messages are gifts, calling you to live not by chance but by divine will, fully aligned with the truth of your being. In life's most challenging moments, when darkness seems to prevail and the path ahead is unclear, remember that these are not random occurrences. Each experience, no matter how painful or confusing, is a deliberate and purposeful call from the divine. These dark signs are invitations to pause, to reflect, and to realign with the higher will that seeks your ultimate good. They are not obstacles but opportunities, not punishments but preparations for a greater unfolding. Through discomfort, silence, and delay, you are guided to shed what no longer serves you, to awaken the eternal flame within, and to trust the divine timing that orchestrates every detail of your life. These moments, though cloaked in mystery, are acts of grace, drawing you closer to your true purpose and aligning you with the limitless possibilities of the divine plan. Embrace the darkness, for it is within its shadows that transformation begins. Lean into the silence, for it is there that divine wisdom speaks. And above all, trust the process, for every sign, whether light or dark, is leading you toward the life you were always meant to live. Thank you for taking this journey of reflection and understanding. May you find clarity, faith, and strength as you align with the divine will in your life.